Hello and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping and wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. I hope we don't have to hit a dead spot as I get on the Cross Island to go to the Grand Central. So we're talking today about things you need to know when you're dealing with when you're hiring a contractor, things you need to know when you're working with a contractor, and things you need to know, things you should say and things you need to know about working with a contractor, and things you need to say, things you need to know about working with a contractor. I think that's a good title. Okay, so I did a podcast with my friend Greg Helbeck. We were talking about this, and I decided I would throw some of this out here. So, a couple of things. So there are things that you should say and should not say to a contractor. Okay, things you shouldn't say to a contractor are, "Hey, money is no issue. I just need to get this done." That's a mistake. You shouldn't say things like, "Hey, this is no rush." That's a mistake. And things you should say and things you should not say are, there's another one. "I don't really care how this looks. Just get it done." So, sorry. So, sorry. So, also, Greg said you should talk about how do you know when you're getting ripped off by a contractor. Okay. So a couple things. When you hire a contractor, you need a contract, and it's got to be pretty clear as to what your obligations are, which is usually going to be payment, and what his obligations are. And it needs to be something that if this guy walks away from you, you have some kind of grounds to go after him, right? And if you think, well, this guy's never going to run away with it, I can tell you that I know 30 different stories of contractors who ran away in the middle of a job. In fact, I had somebody who was remodeling my house once, and really could not, just had priced it too low, ran out of money. I had to pay the subs. I had to go find somebody else to finish it. It's very common. So in that case, it was okay because I wasn't going after the guy, because I ended up spending a lot less money than I should have. But the ways to know you're getting ripped off by a contractor is not so much if he doesn't, people think, well, the contractor doesn't show up, he must be getting ripped off. It's not that. And I still believe I could create a 8-figure contracting business quickly if you just promised communication, right? The biggest problem with contractors is just communication, right? If nobody's showing up to the house, just get on the phone and say, no one's coming today because the tall guy, got into a car accident, whatever it is. So, the way you're getting ripped off, the way to know you're getting ripped off is if the guy continues to lie to you. He's usually covering up things. So you're going to hear things from the contractor and say, "Hey, are you going to take care of that?" "Take care of it tomorrow." Doesn't get taken care of. "Hey, are you going to take care of it?" "I'm on my way there right now." And he doesn't show up. Once they start with the bullshit, it's usually an indication that something could be wrong. And sometimes it's just a time issue, and sometimes it's a bigger issue. So contractors sometimes will come up to you and say, "Hey, we got a big problem. The flooring's not even. I need to even the floors, and it's going to be an extra $12,000. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? $12,000? So if a contractor comes up to you in the middle of a job and has a huge bill for a change order or something like that, you need to, not for a change order is when you change it, but if he has a huge bill for some unexpected item, you need to call up me or somebody else and ask them, "Hey, is this reasonable?" Sometimes it's not reasonable. Sometimes he just needs the money because he's got to pay guys and he's screwed up. You gotta remember, most contractors are terrible businessmen. Terrible. The worst. They were usually tradesmen or subcontractors, and they just decided they wanted to make more money, and they went into business for themselves, and they do not know how to manage resources. They just do not know how to manage the labor, the materials, their own time. It's very common. I mean, very common. And some of even the most talented people, right? The best sheetrock guy, probably can't run his own business. So those are the things I said about things you shouldn't say, how do you know you're getting ripped off, things you should say to a contractor. So you say to a contractor, "Listen, we're partners in this. I need you to finish by a certain date. I'm willing, after you negotiate the price, I'm willing to give you a $3,000, $5,000, depending on the size of the job, even $10,000 bonus if it is completely finished to my satisfaction by that date. But if it's not, the final draw, I'll talk about draw schedules in a second, I'm going to subtract $150 a day if you don't finish by a certain date." So you want to incentivize him finishing on the time that he said, and you want to penalize him if he doesn't. Now, the penalties only work so far, right? If the guy keeps dragging you along, at some point he may just say, forget it, it's not worth it. And you may not owe him enough to actually finish the job. So you want to pay him out in draws. So you want to, ideally, you want to pay him. Some guys need something up front. Most guys need something up front, especially if they're buying materials. But you want to make sure that on some level you're ahead or even with him. So that means that whatever you owe the contractor, if he walks out of the job, you can go get somebody else to do it for close to that amount. And it's very easy to get behind the contractor, right? If a contractor can draw up his own draw schedule, he's going to be so front heavy that he's going to be way ahead of you. And you got to be very, very careful not to allow a contractor to get way ahead of you. If he's a little bit ahead of you, it's not a big deal, right? If you're doing a $70,000 rehab and the guy's $5,000 ahead of you and he leaves in the middle, so it's going to cost you what you would have paid him plus an extra $5,000 finish it. That's not the end of the world, right? That's doable. That's not a tragedy, right? But if you're $30,000 ahead of you, or give him a $30,000 deposit and he walks away and has done anything, you just took a job that was supposed to make profit and may now be losing money or breaking even. So you want to keep as many draws as possible, right? Ideally 4 or 5 draws. That means money times you're going to pay him, and you want it to be in a specific order, right? I remember I knew the order well. Let me think if I know the order. Okay, the order is demo, right? You want to demo the property first. You want to do the mechanicals next. So if you have to rip down walls, you want to make sure that the plumbing, electrical, HVAC, if there's HVAC, all those systems are good because they're going in the walls. And the next thing you want to do is sheetrock and tile, right? So tile bathrooms and kitchens. And then you want to put plumbing fixtures in. You want to paint the walls, and you want to do floors last, right? You don't want to do floors first. Sometimes you get a guy that does this floor first. That's not a good idea, because if you're going to spackle and paint after that, your floor is probably going to look like shit. And everybody says, oh, don't worry, I put drop cloths down. Don't ever, ever, ever do floors anything but last. You want to do floors last. Floors that are not done last usually look not good, not new. So that's important. That's pretty much it. I mean, you could do I left some things out because you could, if you have a roof issue, you want to do a roof first, right? Because a roof protects the house. The outside sheathing protects the house. So if you have window problems, you want to do windows, and you want to do those first, right? Because again, they protect the house. If you have broken windows, that's not good, right? You don't want people working in an area that's not secure. So you want to make sure the roof and the windows, the exterior is done. Siding or real fascia does not have to be done first. It can really be done anytime. You want it done in good weather, so you have flexibility on that. But on the interior, I think you should follow my rules. I think that's a good order. So you want to create a draw schedule where, hey, after demo, I'm going to give you 10 grand. After the plumbing and electrical works, I'm going to give you 20 grand. That kind of thing. And also, very often, if you're taking hard money, then you're going to have a draw schedule from them. So you got to make sure it matches up, because they're going to pay you in arrears, right? The hard money lender that's funding your construction is spending money, is giving you money after you do the work, not before. So it's important that your draw schedule with your lender matches the draw schedule with contractor, because you don't want to be out of pocket that much. So you want to make sure he's going in order. If contractors go out of order, that's a really, really bad sign. If a guy can't keep to the order, so I had a contractor once who could not keep to the order, and I had a lender that was a little flexible. They were going to give me some of the money, even though it wasn't in order, but the order was nuts. Like I said, he was doing floors before he was doing walls. It's just not good. So you want guys who go do things in the right order. You want to pay them for that. So those are the kinds of things you want to say to the guy. You say, listen, I will pay you exactly as we agreed, but I am not paying you a penny until these things get done. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then 5 is everything's done. That means a punch list. That means I'm going to give you a few little things that need to be done. You need to finish them, and then you'll get your final payment. That's really how you got to talk to contractors. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching I offer, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you are interested in, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help my SEO, my search engine optimization. And I post 5 times a week, so please keep the comments coming. Any questions you have are fine. It does not have to be about the video you're watching. If it's a simple answer, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered before, I will send you links to videos. I just sent somebody 3 videos today. That is a police officer. I should slow down. And if it's something new, I will do a new video on it. So I really, really appreciate your help. Thank you very, very, very much for watching.